The good stuff. Should I do it every time? I think maybe I should. Welcome to Rewatching Lost Girl with Scott and Stacie. I'm Scott. She's Stacie. And today we are recapping Lost Girl episode 3, O Kappa, My Kappa. I'm not sure if you read because I'm not familiar with the titles before we go into each one, so I read that one. I was like, oh, first of all, no Faye pun this time, and somebody's going back to school. So we open up the episode and Bo and Dyson are in bed. Full disclosure, we're going to be saying Bo and Dyson are in bed. And just Bo in bed with somebody a lot during this podcast. I feel like it's gonna come up a lot because they're often
But this is really the first time that Bo has woken up next to someone alive. So it will be the first of many times after this, but it is the first, so it's quite significant for her.
Yeah, that was giving me that specific viewpoint was giving me Rogue from the X-Men. Because, when she touches somebody, she can't have physical contact with somebody. That must have been awful. We don't know how early that started, but I'm sure that was horrible for Bo. She also wanted to know if relations with any Fae would give her the Gatorade boost that Dyson does.
She's immediately asking about sleeping around.
It's doing wonders for my electrolytes. Can we, let's keep this going? Yeah. So she's all healed, but they still do it again, because this is on Showcase.
Girl just wants to have fun.
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's fair. It's just not a show it's not a show I would want to watch with my parents or something, you know what I mean?
Fair. I mean, it's a show about a succubus. Let's remember that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We flash to a woman running in the woods. This is a very, very short sequence. We don't really get much of an explanation as to what's going on here. But we flash to a woman. She's running in the woods. She comes to this, big hole in the ground. Lost. And turns around, and there's something comes up to her. We don't see what. She screams, and that's it. We go into our opening credits.
I almost thought, is this the same hole that we saw in the previous episode? That this previous episode started with a guy running in the woods, almost falling into a hole. And now here we are again, deja vu.
Honestly, we have to use every set twice before we throw it out. It's a stipulation from the network. Yeah, we're into the clubhouse, I believe. Kenzi wakes up and sees Dyson in the bathroom. Toothpaste. I think that was very awkward.
This scene is so cute. Her little shimmy dance down the hallway, victorious. Remember it in your head.
I'm happy with how she's just solidarity. I'm gonna dance for you. I didn't get nothing, but you did. Good for you, sweetheart.
Yeah, she's stoked for her.
She's so happy about it. She's stoked for her. So she says we cut to the kitchen. They're in there. They're having breakfast. Kenzi calls Dyson a gentleman caller, and Bo's like, no, it was just for healing. He healed me. And yeah, well, you healed all night long.
It's not a big deal, but if it was, how big are we talking?
Oh, that was great.
I love that.
It's for science, as she said, and I trust her. I would also like to know.
She'll find out soon enough.
So he gets ready. He's going out the door, Dyson, and Bo says thanks, and he goes anytime. And we're just like, ah.
And Kenzi repeats, anytime.
So we get Bo discovers a pamphlet on her kitchen counter as an advertisement for a detective agency that Kenzi has apparently put out.
Need help? No one believes you. Bo's private investigation services specializing in the strange and paranormal. 10 years experience. Police references available. You can't just lie about this shit.
Bo is not for this. She doesn't like this idea. She doesn't want to do this. She thinks, I don't know, she feels like it's tacky maybe. But this pamphlet's already been made, so we're not going to waste the money on that. We're going to put it out. We're going to see if we get anything. And to be fair to Kenzi, it said, what did it say in there? It said something about a police reference and 10 years experience. I don't really think any of that's necessarily a lie.
I mean, I love this whole exchange between them because Bo is I think kind of being stubborn, and like I'm not sure why, because like Kenzi says, we need people who are going to pay us. We're not cut out for a day job. This is something that you can do. This is something that I can help you with. By the way, we already have an interested customer, so like, why don't you just give it a try
Yeah.
before you, turn down the idea?
It turns out they get a notice from the mom of the woman that went missing in the woods. Her name, we find out, was Gina, and we flash to them interviewing the mom about what was going on there. They show a pic of the girl that's from the hole, so we know that that's actually her mother. And Kenzi just thinks that this girl ran away.
Yeah, so I love how this show touches on like really sensitive subjects. Like we said, like the very opening scene of this show is like an essay scene.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about like children running away from home, or teenagers kind of, in this case, she's in college, so she's not like a child anymore.
No.
But Kenzi immediately relates to this, and we don't know all the details of this yet, but she's like, look, I don't know what this kid is actually going through. I don't know if her mom's being overbearing, which the mom says, that's how the cops have said that I'm being, and the college doesn't want to investigate this. And Kenzi's like, well, yeah, maybe because you are being a crazy mom, and this teenager is just being a normal teenager who's like out on a bender or something.
Which, like 9 times out of 10, that might be the case usually. But we're watching Lost Girl, so that's not what happened. So yeah, the mom's worried. Ken thinks she ran away, and right as they were walking out of there, she said that she would have to be tripping to join a sorority. Which, like, when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's so funny, and also like same.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, foreshadowing. Uh-oh.
I just want to say though.
Yeah.
So okay, and I know I've already shouted this out, but I will continue to do so. Anna Silk is hosting her own podcast about rewatching the show as well. And she mentioned that all of the episodes in the first season were filmed out of order. So I can't even imagine how difficult that would be for an actor or actress to like keep track of, okay, so how close and intimate are we now? And how do the dynamics change over the course of the season? So like hats off to them. But I feel like in this episode, everyone is so comfortable and confident in their character, especially Kenzi. Like this episode, this scene specifically, and it also is probably, again, her impeccable wardrobe, like those boots, like,
oh yeah.
But the way she's carrying herself and just like walking in this scene, like she is, Ksenia Solo is Kenzi. Like there is no actress. She has fully embodied this role, and I just absolutely love it. There are so many good lines already up until this point of the episode. You know how during our break I usually insert like a little audio clip from the episode? I have already recorded like 5, and I wasn't even 10 minutes into the episode this time. So the writing was also like the dialogue between characters was just so good.
So you're a PI now, huh?
Yeah, it's part of Kenzi's grand plan to commodify my freakhood.
That girl worries me.
So we cut to a scene where Dyson's talking with Bo and says that like the Ash can find you a job that aids the Light Fae, and like again coming with this vibe of like at least the Dark Fae are straight up, and the Light Fae seem to like just be really, really super shady. It seems like too good to be true, sort of a thing.
Bo is like, I guess membership has its privileges.
Yeah.
And then she says, well, so does freedom. And I love that line as well. Like, so good.
We find out that they hide Fae cases and files like the police officers do. That's like because when Dyson said that like we could find you a job in a position that would aid the Fae, and since he's a police officer, she put the dots together that obviously he hides things for them, which I suppose is necessary, but again comes off as shady, I think.
I thought this was supposed to be like a nod to the X-Files. I forget what she calls it, but like, it's in your creepy files?
Spooky files, yeah, spooky files. Yeah, so we get one. So he says that they don't have anything but from the school. That's because she was there looking for files on the disappearances that have taken place on this college campus, which is called Loxley College. And he doesn't have any files on it, but he has one from a decade ago about a girl that went missing in winter semester, and her body was hollow, like actually hollow, with no organs and no sign of an incision anywhere on her body.
Talk about spooky.
So he's provided her with this file, but Bo needs one more favor. We don't find out what it is right away, though. We go to a different scene. We go to a call between Bo and Kenzi. There's been no activity for 48 hours, no text, no spending, no nothing, because Gina's mother gave them permission to go through her bank statements and her phone calls and stuff.
And Kenzi is doing this hula hooping, by the way, just
Yeah.
like on the phone, casually hula hooping, which I love. I almost want to like record of like a voiceover TikTok of me hula hooping to over this scene, because I'm a big hula hooper, by the way. Side note. If you want to see that, leave us a comment on our TikTok at Lost Girl Rewatch. Check us out on TikTok if you're not already. And tell us if you want to see Stacie hula hooping, and maybe we'll make it happen.
Yeah. So, Bo, so we get to that call, we have that call, and then Bo shows up to the apartment and says that Dyson got her the ability to pose as a campus security at Loxley College. That was part one of the favor. The second one she asked. Part two, that's not what Kenzi gets to do. She's like, okay, so where's my security uniform? It's like, you're not doing that. Yes, and as soon as you say, you just say like, oh god, the episode's called out Kappa My Kappa. She's gonna be made to join a sorority, and she is. She is forced to join Kappa Theta Xi. And on the way to the building, she says, privilege freaks me out. Carl.
Yeah, what could be more dreadful than khaki pants?
Oh no,
Pants.
oh no.
Like, okay, for Kenzi.
Yeah, I know,
okay?
you can't see with my bottom half, so it's fine. I could be wearing pajama pants, which I am underneath these pants, so there you go. Oh my god, oh my gosh, my lord. And that was so funny, because I thought the same thing. I was like, wow, that just does not work at all. So yeah, Kappa Theta Xi, XAI. So Gina is right under their feet, it turns out. When Bo and Kenzi arrived the sorority, it goes right underneath, and there's a chamber of some sort, cave-looking place, right underneath the sorority house. Gina's there. She's not like chained to anything like that yet at this point, from what we can see. So Gina wakes up there, and then there's this cave has like green pools of water. Looks very like acidic, like science goop. And the monster comes out of this pool of water, the green goop, and goes to attack the lady. She did get away though. She's hidden in a little corner. And she is screaming for help, although I have a feeling nobody can hear her right now.
He is like a slimy, golem-looking mo-effer, but ripped as hell. Like he's got an 8-pack.
I would assume that they got like some sort of dancer to do this. I would imagine,
like a stunt guy is what I thought.
Yeah, and when we get a better look at this person later, they do give off a slightly different vibe than what we do see just initially, because we just see their back. We come over and Bo is on the job now. We're in a different scene.
Undercover.
Yes, undercover.
Sorry, I also need to mention she looks so sexy in that security t-shirt, and like the big bulky, I don't know if it's a taser that's like on her waist, but she has to like step, like her arms are so far away from her body, like her stance just like
Yeah. And she's talking to like the head security guard person, and he says, you'll have everything you'll ever need to get out of any situation: your taser, your pepper spray, and your flashlight.
No guns this time. We love it.
They're walking in the campus, they're talking about the job, and he sees the missing girl poster. We see it on one of the posts there or something. And this head security man, he rips it down. And immediately you're like, this is weird.
But I think his explanation is kind of fair, because it's like kids go missing all the time. Like he says, like they're probably just out, drinking or, making bad decisions, because that's what young people do. And then they come back, they're no worse for wear. So we don't want to, get everyone freaked out.
No, yeah, that's fair. But to be honest, as soon as I saw that happening, I was just like, wow, the college for sure isn't hiding any of this. Like, something's going on here. It was immediately, like, sketchy to me. Especially because after that, she just goes and looks at, it's like a ceremony of some sort to cut a ribbon. And what looks like the dean is there. And they're playing, like, music underneath it that's making you feel like something's off here. It's like... So after that, we cut back to the sorority house. Kenzi's getting introduced to the other girls. And she says that her grandma was a pledge way back in the day. And she's like, oh, and this girl with a bad haircut is suspicious. And she says to Kenzi, well, if your grandma was in the sorority, then you must know the secret handshake. This scene... Let's try
to do it.
Like it was perfection. Like that was so amazing. So Bo shows up in the dean's office and is offering to investigate what's gone on for the dean. And not only does the dean say no, the dean is wondering why you are even in her office right now.
This totally feels like the setup for a porno. Like, the employee goes into the employer's office, just getting a little flirty. It's like...
and is kind of what it turned... Well, it doesn't turn into that, but, like, something does happen. She's wondering... Yeah, so like I said, she's wondering why Bo's even in her office. But the college does not need bad press. That's what the dean says. And that her lips are chapped from kissing ass. That was a really good line. Bo does her thing on the dean. And she says that a drunk student saw Gina run into the woods the night that she disappeared.
And then some employee just walks in, and the dean is like, get out of here!
She says, get out to the guy, and then when Bo goes to leave too, she goes, no, not you. Come back.
Good luck with human resources on that one.
Speaking of which, the dean, I can't believe this. I thought this was from like a sketch or something. She actually gets on the phone. She's like, give me human resources. Ooh, yep. Bo's gonna get written up. So we're back to Kenzi and the girl. This girl here is apparently mad that Gina is missing. She's being escorted into Gina's room, which is where Kenzi will be staying. And this blonde girl, who seems to be like the leader of the pack, she's angry that the girl disappeared. She's like, why would you join a sorority if you were just gonna disappear like that? As if, like, if this was automatically of the girl's choosing.
Are you suspicious of her at this point? Is that what you're insinuating?
Yeah, and I feel like they're trying to make you feel that way, which is one thing I do appreciate about this show is the double fake out that they'll do sometimes. I enjoy that. Yes,
and it's usually like the bad guy, bad gal in the episode is like who you least expected. Yeah. So you should always keep your eye out.
Yeah, or the most reputable guest star of the episode. It's usually one of the two. We get on the phone with, she calls Bo. On her little flip phone, cell phone that she's got there, and we cut to Bo in the woods answering her phone, and Kenzi is in hell. That's the summation of this phone call, at least at the beginning. She says everyone's a little. I actually wrote everyone is too chipper before she said it in the episode because it was just that's what came to mind, and that Kenzi says that she's good news, still alive. Bad news, bitches be crazy.
That's such a good line.
I know. Bo, so we're having a girls' night. That's what Kenzi says that she has to do tonight with these girls, and that and Bo says, well, will there be pillow fights? Please tell me there'll be pillow fights. Regardless of what's happening right now, something is just kind of off with this sorority. And even, like, right leading up to, like, later, like, you really do think that it's only getting more suspicious on that end. Yeah.
But I mean, like Kenzi, I'm already suspicious of all sororities to begin with, so I'm a little biased.
Bo says to Kenzi to stop stealing shit as well. This entire phone call is just filled with amazing one-liners.
I know.
Like, it's so good. And then Bo's in, after they get off the phone, we cut to Bo in the woods and she finds the hole. Bo finds Gina's earring just right by that hole, so she knows, she matches it up with the picture that she has, and she knows that this is where this girl is. We cut to the Kappa Theta Xi party next after this. One of the best moments in the scene, though, is they're getting ready to inaugurate Kenzi in here, and it's like a little party the night before they do that, and they like cheer or something or dance or they move around, and it makes it so the wig that Kenzi's wearing like shifts.
They're drinking from a beer keg.
That's right. So that's what it is. That's right.
She's chugging and her head is tilted backwards, and then when she tilts forwards, her cute blonde little wig falls off.
She really should have been using bobby pins.
Also, just a side note, like, I wonder how much budget they spent in this show on Kenzi's wigs. And like, wigs are expensive. And these are not poor quality wigs, you know? Like,
no, I mean, like, the episode 1, it might have been because it was the pilot, but like every episode after that, they've been very like, even if they are not as expensive, they were, because I think this is a lot before like drag queen wigs became like the mainstream thing. So like, yeah, these wigs, they're either way they're very well kept and they look like human hair to me, for sure.
Yeah, the other girl makes a, like, what are you wearing a wig for, as if she's suspicious of her. Or Kenzi says it's psoriasis.
Psoriasis.
And the other girl's just like, God, insensitive much? And then immediately just like flips back to everything being normal and like not making a big deal out of it. And I'm immediately endeared to her at that moment because I'm like, well, that's such a nice way to like, deflect attention away from this girl who just has psoriasis and wants to look normal. Like, That was such a cute little moment.
Yeah, I know. I loved it. I had that too, the insensitive match. I loved that. And she is in the basement. And one of the girls comes down and they were basically like, it's off limits. Don't ever go in there. And then they were back to their regular voice immediately after that.
Get your cute little butt back up here and let's party!
Yeah, immediately after that. Like just the immediate, like, head tilt psycho of it all. Like, okay, back upstairs, let's go party. Like, it was great. I really enjoyed that. That was fantastic. Whoever, I was not able to find who that actress was, but she's good at doing that. It not only is it good for dramatics, but it's good for the comedy of it. Like, that switch, that was really good. Kenzi comes into the dean's office as well while Bo is in there. And we hear somebody coming from down the hall while the two of them are in there. They get under a desk and hide. And the head security guard comes in and does something really, really creepy. And it only comes across as creepy because we're not led to believe that he's any kind of, like, fae or anything at this point. So this just seems like a creepy old man thing to do. So he comes in there, he sees the scarf on the coat hanger, and he just, like, gets right up in there. He just gets right up in there, and he smells that in a very intense way. We're like, oh, okay, all right, okay.
And he does the rounds for this woman's office like every night, and you're like, does he do that like every night? That was kind of my thought, that like, ugh. There's so many gross, creepy men in this show. It's like, it's definitely a recurring theme.
It's certainly not a reflection on reality right now whatsoever. It was a good thing they hid under the desk, though. The man leaves, and there's a file taped under the desk. Always check under the desk, people. Always do that. It is, they pull it out, and it is a little piece of paper with student ID numbers on it. And then we cut to a different scene. And the dean says to the guard that they need to talk. We don't see what conversation that was. I don't think we ever see what that conversation was. But something comes of it, we're sure.
Before that, when Bo finds this, file hidden under the desk, she says something like, if it's worth hiding, it's worth finding out. And I think that's so reflective of her own personal journey that she's going through. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but I think the fact that her client is a mom looking for her daughter also like deeply resonates with Bo. Mm-hmm. So a lot of, even though this episode is pretty self-contained, like the story of it, I think Bo is like projecting her own personal issues on this whole situation, and that's why she's so like invested in it.
I'm excited to at some point hopefully meet her parents at some point as well, specifically her mother, because like I don't remember this show whatsoever, especially like right now it's kind of familiar, but like I can guarantee you seasons 2 and 3 I'm gonna be completely lost. I'm gonna have no idea what's going on. So we go to the next morning. Kenzi's waking up, she's hungover, and she delivers yet another So good. She's like, I think I touched a boob last night. Like that was fantastic. Bo has found blueprints somewhere in the school in the records that they have, and she informs Kenzi that there's an entire tunnel system under the school, and they need to check this out. It turns out that all those student numbers also belong to missing kids. We find out. And that the tunnels all lead to Kappa House. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, there it is.
I think that's a good point to take a little break for some ads.
Yeah, okay.
But we will be right back, folks.
In my defense, truth is for pussies. Do you have any idea what kind of crackpots we're gonna get with this? The kind who pay? Kenzi, listen. No, you listen. We're not exactly cut out for day jobs, Bo. I'm a thief, and you're not even human. Hey, watch it. Look, I know you'd rather be normal, but you're not. You're a freak, and I dig that about you.
And welcome back, everyone. Where we left off was that we found out all the tunnels underneath the college all lead to Kappa House, and then we went ba-ba. Bo asks Dyson what he is, and he does not say.
He says it's a sensitive question to ask because it exposes that phase vulnerabilities.
Dyson wants Bo to check in tonight, just like check in with him, just to make sure that like she's safe.
Which is like kind of cute.
Yeah, kind of cute, but also kind of like, what do you want? Feels like it's also like a monitoring sort of thing, because we know that he's reporting stuff to Trick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who comes in and is clearly not happy with the chemistry that is very clearly happening between Dyson and Bo.
So right before Bo leaves, Dyson plants one on her for energy, and Dyson and Trick go into the basement. Trick is not happy that he is not happy. He is not happy that happened. And Dyson says that they know more about Bo than Bo does. So why? What is there? What risk is there? And Trick makes the point that don't you realize that will just make her anger, that you've known about her stuff and you haven't told her. That would be enough to make her go dark, and people have gone dark for a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
Juicy.
Yeah, so that's kind of new revealing information. But yeah, Dyson, I think at this point, like, look, a lot of people in this show hide things, keep things to themselves, don't tell whole truths. Bo is always wearing her heart on her sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Dyson sees that genuine nature of her, like, we can trust her. And Trick is like, no, we can't. So obviously disagreement between them. But Trick does make a good point that, like, well, when she finds out that you've been lying to her, she'll feel betrayed, and how do you think she's going to respond to that?
Mm-hmm. That'll definitely make her angry. So Trick wants Dyson to end things with Bo. He doesn't care how he does it, but he wants him to end things with Bo. Trick leaves, and Dyson picks up an old book from his office. We don't know what for. And we cut to a different scene. We're in the woods now, and Kenzi and Bo are looking at a map in the woods by sign. It's middle of the daytime, and the dean sees them hiding in a bush. I guess I'm not sure how many college deans just hide out in bushes, but we're back to Dyson with the books again, and he's also very rude-ish at first, because the waitress, not that you have to flirt back with somebody, but the waitress like kind of gets flirty, and Dyson's all like, no thank you, and then like she goes to walk away, and like it's like a 30-second change of mind. He's like, actually, what's up? To go from being so standoffish to flirty like that, I thought that was...
He was working. Like, he was legitimately working. Yeah. I thought he was going to say, like, hey, I'm busy right now, but, you know, you work here. I'm here all the time, apparently. So we'll probably cross paths again.
We're in the forest. Bo finds a locked gate. It looks like a really, like legit, like, medieval locked gate. Like, the full, thick... It looks very old.
I guarantee you this is, like, a mausoleum in Mount Pleasant Cemetery in Toronto. Because there are so many of those, like a crypt going underground.
Oh, yeah. That's 100%. What school were they? Where were they? That's another
U of
thing.
T.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what I thought. All right.
Which, by the way, is like under construction in the background. And I'm like, of course, because Toronto is perpetually in a state of being under construction. It's just like pylons and like high vis vests that you see in the background. And I'm like, yep.
Yeah, and the day that we die, it's still gonna look the same. We cut to the Kappa house, and they're coming down the stairs, chanting something in Latin. It's very one of us, one of us.
This is a full-on ceremonial magic sacrifice is about to happen.
They were like, right before they get to this door, that this doorway is a portal, and you'll be like transformed into a member of the sorority once you walk through. And she's like, oh god. So she walks in. She really doesn't want to. She's so scared, and she gets in, and it's just a party.
Again, it's like they build up this suspense and then it's just like devolves into hilarity.
Yeah, it's just like wah wah. So we come back to the woods, and Bo gets tased.
So Kenzi calls Bo and is like, hey, we messed up. Whatever's going on, it's not at the sorority. And then Bo gets tased while Kenzi's on the phone. Yes. Yeah. So she immediately is like gonna go run to Dyson for some backup.
Bo gets dragged away, and we find out that's the head of security that tased her, which I wasn't surprised of. They literally cast that guy exclusively to play those kind of roles, so I was kind of expecting it. Kenzi calls Dyson because she needs help. She realizes that something clearly happened to Bo because it happened when they were on the phone, and we find out that the dean is dead. With I think it was a butter knife. Bo wakes up chained in a cave. She starts chatting with the security guy. I wouldn't really call it chatting.
She's being held hostage.
Small talk. Where'd you grow up? And then, so she says... and she finds out the monster prefers their victims dehydrated. It allows him to... the good stuff. So it turns out that the good stuff is their youth. That's essentially what this monster is taking. Bo finds out that the water that the victims get drained in, when he pulls those victims into this puddle of green water that we saw at the beginning, that those waters become like enriched. It's basically like a fountain of youth. Underneath a sorority house, little on the nose, but I'll take it. And then it turns out that this guard has also been the same age since 1942, and he don't look good. So that sucks.
He's just plateaued and is staying in this not so optimal form.
Well, he can't help the time at which that he got access to this fountain of youth. I mean, yeah, exactly. So turns out that the guard is the one that killed the dean. I was not surprised. I kind of assumed as soon as he was revealed. But I also kind of thought she was more in on it.
You thought the dean was more in on it?
Yeah, I did. Because she seemed like a little more suspicious, and she was covering things up. But I guess she was just covering them up without knowing why.
They're trying to make you suspicious of many characters.
Haha, no, not this one, not this one, not this one. Yeah, lots of faking out. So yeah, the guard killed the dean, and because the dean wanted to seal off the tunnels, which would have meant that he would not have access to this fountain of youth anymore. And after this conversation takes place, the guard leaves Bo and Gina to die. Because he's gonna go clean up the mess from the dean. Also, why commit a crime like that and then just wait 45 minutes to 3 hours to clean it up afterwards? Like, as if there's like a window there, you know what I mean? Like anybody could walk in, and they did. Like, it was just, that seemed like an odd choice.
I wonder if, I don't know, he saw Bo and then was like pursuing her or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, before he leaves, he hits this giant like bell thing on the wall behind him, and it's like, oh boy, just that resonating like wow 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 wow. You're like, something's gonna go down. That's not pretty good.
Yeah, nothing comes good from that. We're back in the woods with Kenzi and Dyson. They're running. Dyson starts getting naked, and we're like, ooh, what's going on? He tells Kenzi to go do something, and then he shifts to a wolf, and Kenzi gets to say, holy shit balls, that was awesome.
What he says to Kenzi before he runs off is he's pretty sure he has an idea of what the creature is.
Yes.
Actually, when he was in the bar earlier, when Bo said it's Kappa House, he was like, Kappa House.
Oh.
And she's like, what? And he's like, oh, it's just a thought. But he didn't actually say what it was. So he's telling Kenzi, this thing has a teacup on the top of its head. And you have to tell Bo to tip the water out of the teacup on the top of his head while he's taking off his clothes, while he's running.
That's
and
right.
he's trying to
yes.
catch the trail, catch the scent. And Kenzi's like, why don't you just tell Bo yourself? And then...
Holy shit balls, that was awesome.
He shapeshifts into a wolf. And I want to be clear, they don't really say any word. You might expect, the word werewolf to be thrown around, but he doesn't change into like a human wolf hybrid. It's just straight up a wolf.
I feel like maybe he's one of those. He's like, I prefer the term lichen, which is that is a little bit cooler, I think.
I'm sure we'll get into his lore a little bit later, but Kenzi is the first one who kind of sees this transition happen.
Which leads to a really funny moment later, which I really enjoyed. We're back to the cave. Gina gets attacked almost, but Bo chucks it, picks him up and chucks him back in the water, just yeets him in there. And but he literally, the second she turns around and goes to address Gina, he's sorry. The second he turns around and goes to address Gina, he pops right back up behind her within 2 seconds. So that didn't really do any damage to him at all. Kenzi's trying to find Dyson in the woods. Says that she has treats, which I loved. I thought it was so funny. Here, boy. Who's that boy? Where are you? So Dyson tackles the guard, and Kenzi hears this and comes running. And then we are back to the cave again. There's a lot of back and forth with the scene. With the scenes.
It's an action.
Yeah, tension builder. Yeah. So we're back to the cave. Bo's fighting the creature. Now we get a full front view of the creature. It was funny that it ends up with what we find out about the creature later, because upon its first look, it was giving me Aztec Mayan vibes. The tattoos and the hairstyle with the missing tie, that's what I was getting from it.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I was just distracted by his ripped abs.
You were distracted by that? I was distracted by that. with the mouth it was like Kirby.
Wait until you hear the folklore behind this creature. It gets way grosser than you think.
Oh god. Yeah, so its mouth opens. He looks like Kirby if Kirby had lip injections of some sort. And it's we don't know what. So I'm assuming he does the same sort of a similar thing to what Bo does, at least in the context of this show. I'm not sure if you could say that sexual energy is the same as youth, but they're definitely in the same lane, I would think.
Sure. Yeah.
So Dyson comes in and knocks the top of the head off of this teacup monster thingy, and his Tupperware lid comes off, and then tip her over and pour him out, and he is, and this creature is now dead. Bo goes, "Why you naked?"
Half naked.
Oh, that's
so
right.
Here's
yeah.
How did he shifted into a wolf? Actually, I think Kenzi picked up his jeans.
Yeah.
And then I guess she followed him and gave him his jeans back.
And then they just gave us the benefit of not starting the conversation until he got his pants on, which we as a viewer appreciate.
She just didn't, she did the courtesy of grabbing his jeans, but she didn't grab his shirt.
Well, she's not a monster. She wants us to we want the show. So Bo says, "Why are you half naked?" And then in response to "Why are you half naked, Kenzi?" Can I tell her, please? Can I please do it? I would love to burst this bubble right now. We cut to at home, and Kenzi says that the creature was a kappa from Japanese fae. Stacie?
Also, I gotta say, Bo is in the bath. She's covered in soap.
Yeah.
And then she just, throws her bathrobe on. It's could you not have, rinsed the soap off?
Do you want a rash? Because that's how you get a rash. Yeah, that's how you get a rash. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that the name of the sorority is the name of the creature of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if the sorority got named after the creature. I don't know when that kind of transpired, but... So yeah, as you mentioned, these are a creature from Japanese folklore. They're supposed to have a turtle shell and webbed feet. I don't think I noticed that.
So it had little circle things on its back, there was a reptilian sort of look to it. So yeah.
that little cup of water on his head is carrying his life essence. And that's why if you empty that cup, so when he's coming out from under the water, it's kind of like picking up that water, but then once you separate that from him, he ceases to exist.
Yeah, there's no cup half empty. He's just dead. Yeah, that sucks.
Okay, so this is where it gets gross. So prepare yourself.
Okay.
So similarly to the idea of like a root chakra, if any of you are, yogis, the source of your energy begins at your butthole. So the Japanese had a similar belief that the source of your energy starts at your butthole. So in these myths that I think were supposed to symbolize like the danger of water and to just be like weary to, go into the water.
Our Thessalophobia people will know all about that. Oh my god. I'm terrified of water.
But yeah, so obviously in the TV show, he's trying to suck it out of Bo's mouth. But in the mythology, he pulls you under the water and goes straight for the butthole. That's how he leaves them, hollow, like we saw in that creepy photo at the beginning.
Okay, and do you have this creature's number? And Kenzi is talking to Bo, saying that like sort of just kind of telling her like she should just try to like embrace what's happening and maybe like just go for it, because as she quotes, Bo loves Dyson.
His wolf, sexy wolf man, I think she calls him at this point.
Yes. Which it's so funny because Chris Holden Reed, like this is the first time I've seen him play a werewolf, but it's not the only franchise that he plays a werewolf in though, which is very funny.
Not a werewolf, it's just a wolf.
Yeah, that's fair. Yes, yeah.
Kenzi's like, obviously you have feelings for him. You should go tell him. Go do it. So Bo is like, all right, I'm going to the bar because obviously he'll be there. He's always at this bar. He like lives at the bar when he's not at work, apparently. And remember that cute little redheaded waitress that he was flirting with a little bit earlier? She might be bent over a barrel of wine right now. Or she's sitting on it. She's sitting on it.
And we walk in because Bo's going to tell him how she feels after the whole 2 episodes. Like their bond is strong and deep. So she's going there to tell him how she feels, and walks in, and yes, there is a waitress getting it on with Dyson, and this is very clearly I'm not going to use the word ploy, but yeah, it's a ploy to be cruel in a way to make it so that it's Bo's decision to not be with Dyson, so that the guilt is off of him. At least as far as he's concerned. I would still say that it's on him, though, due to the actions. But Bo is very clearly hurt from walking in and seeing this. And we've actually never really seen her hurt in that way before.
I don't think she's ever been heartbroken before,
No.
Because she's, again, never even woken up to a lover before. But yeah, Dyson's communication here is like so poor, because he's like, oh, I thought it was clear that, obviously I'm just sleeping with you to heal. And you can always talk to me if that's what you need, but that's all it is. Duh. And she's like, what do you mean, duh? Like, no, that was not men. But, she was like, that was not clear, but it's definitely clear now. I gotcha. Message received.
Oh.
But yeah, she's definitely hurt.
Yeah, she I think she just in that exchange crossed from hurt feelings to just kind of being pissed about it. And then she leaves. Dyson turns around and looks at Trick, looking very, very, very upset, because this is not what he wanted to do at all. And that takes us to the end of that episode of O Kappa My Kappa. Consequences to come from that for sure.
Stabbed to the heart.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, yeah, like Dyson was being such a jerk, but that's really not what he wanted to do at all. He was just trying to appease Trick. I think also in front of him, so that you would see, like, look, I did what you asked me to do.
Yeah. And Bo was like, well, because before this, it was just like, yeah, I woke up to some people and they were dead and that kind of sucked. But like, you hurt my feelings. This is worse.
And also, this is so unfair to the redheaded waitress, Kayla. Her name is Kayla. Because, like, the look that she gave to when he walked away, like, after Bo, she was just like, poor girl. Like, she was just, like, a pawn in a chess game. Like, so rude.
Yeah, and that's what that was. Yeah, that entire thing was icky. But, like, I also, like, I've seen that in a couple shows, like, making sure that a relationship doesn't work out so that the other half of that relationship can pursue some great destiny. Blah, 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 like that sort of thing.
If it was up to Bo, she would just have been honest, because that's what she does.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not the way that every other fae has been raised up to be, like, it seems like. They're
right.
Lie. Yeah, they've been taught to lie the whole time.
Well, get ready for more lies in episode 4, guys, because they'll just keep coming.
Yeah, so that wraps up for O Kappa My Kappa of episode 3 of Rewatching Lost Girl with Scott and Stacie. We hope you guys enjoyed your time with us. We loved talking to each other while you guys listen. I was gonna say talking to them, but, like, that's not. I mean, like, that is.
You can talk to us though. You can comment. You can leave us comments on YouTube, on Spotify, on Instagram, on TikTok. We respond to everything. By the time you listen to this, we will also be on Amazon Music, YouTube Music, Amazon Music. Is that what it's called? Podcast.
Yeah.
We're trying to get on all the platforms, guys, but they each have, like, minimum thresholds or, you know, qualifications, but we're getting all over the place. So again, we really appreciate it if you share this podcast with any of your friends. Yeah, just like word of mouth is really gonna help us reach a wider audience.
Chronically online, so I'll always respond to comments.
We'd love to hear from you, and we appreciate you tuning in every episode, and we can't wait to see you in the next one.
All right, well, we'll see you guys in the next episode of Rewatching Lost Girl with Scott and Stacie. And bye, everybody. We love you guys.